Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lori in Spokane. Today is Monday, February 5th, and here is our weekly weather briefing for the upcoming work week. Okay, so three things to know for this week. Rivers have and are cresting across southeast Washington and central Idaho. We have a warm front that moves in Thursday, followed by a cold front Thursday night and Friday. And then by Friday and the weekend, our temperatures will return to more average values that we typically see the first week of February, and we are expecting a dry weekend. So looking at our rivers across the region, the main area of concern that we have is mostly the Idaho Panhandle and maybe a little bit towards Pullman. But the main issue right now is the Palouse River near Potlatch, this one right here. We do have a flood warning currently for that river. It has already crested, as you can see here, and it will continue to lower through the evening. We have the warning going until it gets out of this orange area here, which will be probably later this evening, and then it will continue to lower through the overnight hours and tomorrow. The main impact for that, the Palouse River near Potlatch, is the flooding of some parks and a few isolated roads. The other two rivers that we're watching is the St. Joe at St. Mary's down here in the lower right, and it continues to rise. And it will peak later this evening and then lower, but it shouldn't really cause any impacts. I think the impacts at this location is just some increased levels along the river's edge in a park. And then the St. Joe at Calder, it has peaked and is lowering as well, and it shouldn't be having any more impacts across that area. So Thursday we will see some winds ahead and along with that cold front that is going to move through. And you can see our strongest winds will be across central Washington and southern Washington, where we will see gusts typically 20 to 30 miles an hour. And the strongest winds will occur from about noon until about 6 p.m. So with that warm front Thursday and then the cold frontal passage Thursday night, how much liquid precipitation are we expecting? You can see a big void across Wenatchee area, the Waterville Plateau, the Okanagan Valley, part of the Okanagan Highlands, and a big chunk of the Columbia Basin will largely receive nothing. And that's because it's just strong westerly flow and it's just going to shadow out those locations. Extreme eastern Washington and some parts of the Cascades will generally see less than 1/10 of an inch, with the highest amounts, which really aren't that significant, will be right along the crest of the Cascade Mountains and across North Idaho. So snow levels Thursday with that warm front, we will see snow levels ranging anywhere from close to 5,000 feet across the north to close to 6,000 feet across southern Washington and the southern Idaho Panhandle. And then that cold front passes Thursday night into Friday morning, and our snow levels will drop quite a bit, 500 feet across the north down to close to 2,000 feet or higher, 2,000 to 3,000 feet across southern Washington and the southern Idaho Panhandle. So what does that mean for snow that we are expecting? So this is just the snow we're expecting Thursday and Thursday night. You can see most valleys across Washington will see nothing. It'll just be the mountains, mainly the Cascade Crest, and maybe up here in Pend Oreille County in Washington. The higher snow amounts, which really aren't that significant, a little over 4 inches, will be across the northern Idaho Panhandle. And these less than 1 inches across Bonners Ferry, Sandpoint, and Coeur d'Alene, they're really more like 1/2 inch, and that won't be until Thursday night when snow levels lower. We will probably still have some light precipitation occurring Thursday night into early Friday. After the cold front goes through, our flow becomes more northerly, and this image doesn't show it very well, but we will have some stronger wind gusts coming down the Okanagan Valley and into the Waterville Plateau area. So probably gusts 20 to 25 miles an hour is expected Friday evening across those areas. Looking at our temperatures for some Moses Lake in the upper left and Spokane in the lower right. Temperatures generally this week will be above average, peaking on Thursday, and then lowering after the cold front goes through more towards our average. But we will still be a few degrees above average. And you can see the best chance of precipitation will be Wednesday and Thursday with that warm front and then cold front afterwards. And our temperatures for Idaho, Sandpoint in the upper left and Lewiston in the lower right, shows a very similar trend with a better chance of precipitation across the North Idaho Panhandle. So how's our snowpack looking in the mountains? Our snow water equivalent percent of normal has changed very little since last week. And for the most part, Washington and North Idaho is looking pretty good right now. As for our 8 to 14 day outlook, valid February 12th through the 18th, we are expecting above average temperatures for most of the western U.S., as well as below average precipitation. So in summary, our river levels will be decreasing or are decreasing this evening. Temperatures will be above average through Thursday, and then with some possible light mountain snow Thursday, and then breezy Thursday with that cold front passage in the afternoon and early evening across central and southern Washington. And then dry and near average temperatures for the weekend. Thank you so much for joining, and have a great week.